Okay, here we are at the abrasive chop saw, and it's just like a standard chop saw that would you use for the woodworking class, except that we have an abrasive blade on here that's going to be used for metal. The blade on this is very flimsy, so if you don't use it correctly, what can happen is this blade will actually chip or crack, and then it will just kind of fly apart, unlike a metal blade that'll stay together. So one of the things you don't want to do with this saw is you don't want to use thin material. Things like this are best used on the bandsaw, so that you can get a nice clean cut on them. This is more for use for metal pipe or solid or the square tubing that we have around, or even some of the thicker metal that we use for coupons when you're working in the MIG area. Okay? So when working with a saw, you want to make all your adjustments first before you ever turn it on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure we have our right angle. In this case, the saw is usually set up to cut 90 degrees, so we can just put our piece of material here and cut it. If you want to change the angle of the cut, don't just stick it in here like this and try to hold it, because you will not be able to hold it down. You want to always make sure that you use the clamp whenever you're cutting with this saw. So if you need to make an adjustment, you'll need an Allen wrench from the tool rack. You'll loosen this bolt up on the back, and then you can adjust this to whatever angle you want to cut it at. For now though, we're going to leave it at 90 degrees. So all you have to do, put your piece of material in here. You'll notice I have this piece right here is like a quick release. If I put this up, I can slide this in and out really easy. But when it's down, then I actually have to turn it to make it clamp. So I've got it facing down. I clamp my material in there nice and tight. Okay, so it can't move. I've got this lined up with my blade where I want it to cut, so I don't have to make the cut twice. Okay. Then all you're going to do is you're going to pull the trigger on the handle here. You don't want to be directly in front of the blade. Like I said, if it's going to fly apart, it's going to send most of its pieces directly back out. So standing to the side, we're going to pull the trigger and we're going to apply light pressure as we cut through the material. Always wait for the saw to come to a complete stop before you stick your hand in there and try to grab it. Even as it's slowing down, it's spinning fast enough to cut you. So make sure it's come to a complete stop before you loosen this up. Okay, then we can loosen this up a little bit, flip this back over, and we can pull it out and remove the piece we're working with. One thing you'll note about the piece we just cut off now is it's like we mounted a razor blade on the edge of it. It is incredibly sharp on the edge, and so we're going to want to take that over to our pedestal grinder, and we're going to grind off that edge so it's nice and smooth when we're done.